Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another one of our weekly Haikyuu to the Top discussion videos, and today we're going to be talking all about episode 11, A Chance to Connect. But before we get into the video proper, I do, as always, want to give a big thank you to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter. At DarkfirePlayer4, at Honda Gilbert, and at AnimeFan3535. Thanks so much for sharing last week's video on Twitter, you guys, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Haikyuu to the Top video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. Alrighty, so this week's episode could very easily be split, as many things can be, into two things that we gotta talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the third years, who seem to be taking center stage in this this whole tournament arc, which makes sense. It's, you know, they're the third years. This is their last chance at glory. And the other thing we got to talk about is, of course, the little first year that could, but we will get there. First, we're going to talk a little bit about Karasuno. And holy crap, the emotions that I was feeling in not only this episode, but the previous episode as well. The Karasuno third years are really like, they have a lot of weight on their shoulders going into the spring tournament. And that's nowhere more evident than when the former third years, who I assume are now like off to college and such, they come back to see the younger, their kohais, like now competing at a national level. And I can't remember their names, but the one dude, like the main guy, the main previous third year, says if the opportunity comes, make sure you grab it. And that is so indicative of the Karasuno team that we have come to know, led by Daichi and sort of nurtured by Suga and Asahi. And the third years have truly taken this opportunity of this incredible talent that they've been able to foster, not just with the first years, but also the second years as well. And they've managed to take this team, this opportunity, and really make a huge push. I don't think that the third years ever thought that they would actually get to the spring tournament, and the fact that they're here, the fact that they have achieved this, that they actually sought out and grabbed that opportunity that their senpai told them to do, it's good stuff. And I don't know, I was feeling real emotional knowing how far the team has come, and you truly do get a sense of real growth in the team. And it's not just, like I said last week, it's not just the third years, it's everybody. And it's not just the players themselves, like everybody, even Kyoko is getting some serious development in this spring tournament, and it's just quality stuff to see. And as Tsubaki Hara points out, it's too early to go home. And I loved that scene where they realize, like, Kageyama and Suki are kind of getting tuckered out and they're not like performing at their best. And it looks like the other team's gonna get a point, and Daichi comes up with just a big bump and knocks it over to the other side and secures a point for Karasuno, literally mirroring what Tsubaki Hara had been saying, that it's just too early for them to go home here. And that's the unfortunate part of playing in a big tournament, right? Is like somebody's got to go home, and somebody's got to go home crying. And it's a rougher side of the sport, but at the same time, I loved seeing Daichi step up. Loved seeing Asahi step up for the big final point as well. That was great. And also Suga, Suga coming through like in such a big way, like making sure that the team manages to win their second set and ultimately beat Tsubaki Hara pretty much clean. And I loved it. I also thought Suga was like way funnier than he normally was. And honestly, the whole team was very funny this week. Karasuno was really on their comedy A game. Like at some point, Suga even like hides behind Suki and is like mimicking Suki's voice and like sneakily hands the man a water bottle and stuff. And he's just like nicknaming the minus tempo quick that Kageyama and Hinata were doing. I can't remember what he called it, like back minus tempo or something. I don't remember. And Noya's, of course, like, you should add thunder to the end of it. Like, just little things like that. The whole team was very much in high comedy mode. And Hinata in particular is very much was very much on his A-class comedy routine, although I don't think, and in fact, I know that was not intentional. And that comes down to one of the animators who have been absolutely stellar this season. Sachiko Fukuda, sorry. They put such emphasis on these sort of flowing fabrics and in these like slow-mo scenes and these big exaggerated faces for Hinata to pull. And Fukuda has been really nailing a lot of the sort of like those moments where Haikyu slows down time for a second to allow you to hear what the character's thinking as like they kind of like slowly come back down to earth. And that's sort of what happens with the Hinata scenes, but it's more played up for comedy. So the flowing fabric as Hinata makes this big goofy face, like the fabric itself should be like really pristine and pretty, right? And it is. The way it's animated is really pretty. But at the same time, the big, goofy, exaggerated face just nails the comedy, and I think Fukuda has been absolutely killing it in terms of animation, so I have to give them big kudos. I also have to give some kudos to Hideki Takahashi, another big animator for the series, who uses like a heavy emphasis on wind effects when a character is like about to spike the ball hard. They use a lot of wind effects, and they also use a crap ton of smearing, and it makes every impact feel so heavy. And it's also a testament to the sound design as well, where like it sounds like jet engines going off when say a character like Himikawa makes their big serve. And speaking of Himikawa, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the little first year that could. Himikawa is I kind of figured like when we saw him, right? I was like, oh, this little man's out of his element. This dude reminds me of like a younger me, and I don't mean like high school me. I don't know if it's obvious, but your boy didn't play a lot of sports in high school. But I did, and this is a fact, I did play volleyball in grade school. So I actually did know a wee bit going into Haikyuu way back when. But Himikawa reminds me of a little version of like grade school me, which should tell you that I thought this man was too small to be out here. I was like, boy, you are playing at a national level. You do not belong. Like he just looks so nervous and scared. And I was like, yep, I can relate. And yeah, that's like, and even like the underhand serve, I'm like, bro, I used to do that when I was in grade school. This man's playing at a grade school level. What's going on? But Himikawa is easily the best part of this entire match. He is easily the best part of, he is easily the only thing to write home about in regards to Tsubakihara and their team. Like, this kid is easily the best part. And that's because he is very clearly, like, not as skilled as the other members of his team. But his specific skill of being able to do this big ceiling, serve, right? Like, just serve it all the way up. The fact that the stadium that they're in has such a high ceiling, he's actually able to serve it so damn high that it actually, like, kind of throws off everybody's equilibrium and they're not able to properly react. Like, Daichi even it bounces off Daichi's arms and he's not even aware before it hits the ground. So, yeah, Himikawa actually does come in handy. And that underhand serve, if he actually grows stronger as a player, he could very easily grow to be their future MVP, and I'm not just saying that. Like, this kid, as a little first year, I wholeheartedly believe that he has, like, a future ahead of him if he continues to hone those skills. And even the announcers even point out that this is, like, the first time the kid's seen the court since he started playing for Tsubakihara. So he was literally just, like, their last-ditch effort to try to outmaneuver Karasuno, but alas, he just doesn't manage to pull it off. But you know what? I don't care, because I genuinely thought that this character was a lot of fun. I loved the fact that the first time he does the underhanded serve, he like serves it right into the back of one of his seniors' heads, and it just leads to this great comedy bit. And like everybody in the crowd's like, he's gonna have nightmares about that forever. And yeah, that would be my living nightmare, is embarrassing myself to that extent. So I genuinely felt bad for the kid, and so to see him get a couple big points on Karasuno of all teams, that has me feeling like this kid might have some kind of true talent laying in there. He just needs to kind of awaken that and find a little bit of courage in there, you know? Face his fears, and I think he would be an excellent player down the line. But Tsubakihara, this is pretty much the end of the line for them. And I don't know how to tell y'all this, but I told you. I don't mean to brag, but I told you. You guys remember last week when I was talking about color symbolism? This is the second video in a row where my color symbolism theory came into being. I told y'all that this team, being blue and beige, is a sign that they are meant to be the bare bones basic team that you have to be able to stomp in order to get into nationals. And stomp my boys did, because goddamn, like Karasuno, like listen, Tsubaki Hara, as I said, is beige and blue for a reason. That color scheme was very much meant to sort of give you this like, okay, so this is like our warm-up first round, you know? Like this is the team that we're gonna try out some new skills, like really kind of hone ourselves going into the spring tournament. So again, like this is a perfect team to have Karasuno start off against. And the fact that Karasuno wins like both sets back-to-back, securing the win, yeah, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but yeah, not even toot my own horn, because realistically, we all knew they were gonna beat Tsubaki Hara. But the fact that they won with so little trouble, like there was trouble, but it was very little trouble, you know what I mean? Like Karasuno has faced greater challenges than this. Hell, Date Tech gave them more grief than Tsubaki Hara did, and that was a practice match. But like at the same time, it wasn't so much about the match itself, it was about how far these characters have come and grown. And that to me is what I really took away from this. The whole episode being titled A Chance to Connect, to me is like a chance to connect to something bigger than yourself. And that's the real takeaway from this episode, to me anyway, is the 30 years really seizing that chance to connect to something great. And this is the first step in a long road to the finals of the spring tournament. And I'm really hoping our boys go all the way. I don't know if they will, but I mean, like, I hope so. And I hope to see some great matches going forward. And even considering how easy the Tsubaki Hara match was, we got some great animations, we got some hype moments. We even got a fun new character on Tsubaki Hara's side in Himikawa. So I can't really complain. With that said, everybody, I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts here. I'd say that this episode is sort of like a solid cup of orange pico tea. It's exactly what you come to Haikyuu for. It's good quality stuff. And that's it for today's video, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then be sure to go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment down below, because it all pleases the almighty YouTube algorithm, which helps me out a ton. So if you choose to do so, kudos to you. And if you'd like to go that one step further to help the channel out, then go ahead and check out some of the mugs listed just under this video from our Teespring store. That is super appreciated. Or if you want to help out the channel more regularly, of course you can check out our Patreon, like these lovely people that you see before you. And speaking of our patrons, I would like to give a big shout out to those of you in the Earl Grey tier. Zevi, Andrew, Branson, Calvin, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel, Digger the Fox, Dominic, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Steven, Sakochi, Tristan, and Veridon. Thanks so much to all of you in the Earl Grey tier, as well as those of you in the Orange Pico tier. And if you too would like to join our T-Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, see all the cool rewards you can get over there, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive Discord for as little as $1 a month. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, you stay classy, AniTube, and wash your dang hands.